Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And we just watched the New Year's special of Hulu's Into the Dark. That's the series?
Yes.
I didn't forget it for a second. And we just watched the New Year's segment, New Year, New You, which was apparently directed by a woman named Sophia Takal, whose work I'm not familiar with outside of the fact that she was the wife in the VHS segment Second Honeymoon.
Oh!
Outside of that,
I know that.
I'm not familiar with her work, so
this is me neither.
My introduction to her as a director, and I mean, it's not a bad introduction. It's a
It's
a pretty good segment.
It's very good. There's a lot of love for the work of Brian De Palma in this.
Yeah, I love that. There's a lot of split screens and stuff like that to build tension, and that was really cool. I love the De Palma loves his crazy women.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of crazy women in this.
Yeah.
And I really love that. The basic premise of the movie is you basically have a group of friends getting together on New Year's to celebrate the year and christen the new year. But the friends haven't seen each other in a long time, and they have a lot of history. Not necessarily good history.
Yeah. No, not particularly good history.
And one friend in particular has it out for another friend for reasons that we shall go into as we go on.
Yeah.
But let's just say things get bloody.
Yeah. Part of the twist in this thing is that this thing is kind of all about YouTube and Instagram.
And I really appreciated that because it really fucking goes hard into the vapidness of Instagram culture.
Oh my god, yeah.
Influencer culture.
Yeah.
These
oh my god, I just want to spread positivity, and it's so important that we hold on to these negative images that are weighing us down. You're like, fuck you!
Oh my god, and just
fuck you!
How vapid and bullshit it all is, and how it's just a very blatant manipulation to get really insecure people to give these people money.
Yeah. But so you could sell them juice cleanses.
Exactly.
Shit,
it's like used car salesman for self-help.
Yep.
Yep. And motivation speaking.
Yeah, and it does go into how much people fucking buy into this.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because it's one thing when you're like, well, if you think about it, it's like adults your age, it's okay, but they let you know very early on, this is influencing little kids.
Oh yeah, the main target demographic is teenage girls,
Yep.
So they're the people watching it, and as we learn, when these characters were teenage girls, they weren't really good people.
No, they were pretty shitty.
They were pretty awful. That's one thing I kind of liked about this movie. There is probably only one, legitimately good character among the friends.
Yeah.
And one other character in the movie who's also a good person, but they're a side thing.
Well, yeah. They're side characters, so.
But outside of that, everyone in this movie is awful in their own particular way.
Yep.
Some for their own insecurities, and others because they just like stepping over people to get to the top.
Yep. Yeah, and it's kind of, because it's all about things like Instagram and cameras, almost everything is either viewed through a camera or a mirror. And
I appreciated that too. There's an excellent use of mirrors, and that also felt very De Palma.
It did
to me. And the other thing I really like about this movie is that for the first half of this movie, it's basically like a powder keg. You're sitting there watching as the fuse has been lit, and you're waiting for it to go off.
Yeah. It's all that. Oh, look at that! I better not leave this precariously by this sticky bun.
Yes.
And
on top of that, you also have these characters that are interacting with each other, but they're obviously not being real. Everyone is trying to play nice.
Yeah.
But they all obviously have, anger underneath the niceness, and you could feel it. So it's the uncomfortable atmosphere of everyone pretending to be happy and pretending to be friendly, but they all want to strangle each other.
Yep. Yeah, it's a room full of girls who want to kill each other.
So you're just waiting for the moment when someone finally snaps. And about halfway through, someone finally does.
Yeah. Much like the previous one that we had reviewed, this is another one that really doesn't get going until about 40 minutes in, because the first 40 minutes is basically all set up for the last.
And I do want to give a warning, though. If you have trouble dealing with, vapid, rich girl speak,
ooh,
this first half of this movie is going to be hard to get through.
It's hard. It's painful.
Because even when one of them's talking about being broke, she's obviously not that broke.
Well, she can't be.
Yeah. Like,
you know, that's one of those, like, she can't be that broke. You know, like, maybe she's at least middle class.
Well, it's hard to hear people sitting there talking about, like, because, like, the women like to talk about, like, their feminism. They like to talk about, like how hard they have it and how on dire times they're on. But, like, they're, like, in the middle of a spa that's in the middle of their parents' house.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
And they're talking about this, and you're just like, something tells me you're not that bad off right now.
Yeah. Like, everyone... Well, almost everyone in this movie is completely fake.
Obviously, there hasn't been as many obstacles for you as you're letting it sound like, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
but we've got the one good friend so that you can tell that everyone else is a funky bitch.
Yes, the lesbian friend who didn't come out until long after high school because she wasn't comfortable coming out among her friends.
Yeah.
She's the one character who seems to legitimately be a good person. She even seems to be a teacher who helps autistic kids and actually seems to care.
Yep.
Unlike everyone else, she doesn't feel like she's putting on airs the whole time.
Yeah, because, like, well, she's directly there to contrast against the Instagram model.
Oh, God, because you have the Instagram model who is the most obviously just pretending to be someone the entire movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
Nothing she says sounds genuine. It all sounds like a performance in order to manipulate those around her.
It's all empty, vapid platitudes.
Yes.
You know, like...
you have the main character who is obviously a little bit more honest with her emotions, but she's obviously also really selfish.
Yes.
Like, she only really cares about herself more than anything else. And then you have the chubby chick who is, out of all the bad people, you feel the most bad for her because she's basically hiding her own insecurities and self-hatred under self-depreciating humor the entire time.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's this reoccurring theme with almost all of them except for one, that they're all not being real.
Yeah.
You know, to a certain extent. And I was glad there was at least one character you could actually hang your hat on and go like, okay, this one character is the only character among them that is a real person.
Yeah. There's a real person here because you have to have that, otherwise, like, the movie's got no grounding.
Yes.
You know.
When we get to the second half, it doesn't get gory, but, like, it does get pretty brutal at times.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of blood. There's, like, one pretty good, like, deep cut effect.
Oh man, that cut hits the most too because it's a character It's not a character that we've established so far, but it's a character that doesn't deserve it.
Yeah.
And you feel it when it happens, too, because they filmed it in a way that made it look like it actually happened. And I appreciated that. Like, it felt real.
Ram. Yeah. A lot of death.
Yes.
You know. I still think it's really funny that in the beginning they establish a lot of Chekhov's guns.
They do. There's a lot of, like, lingering shots of, like, oh, look, there's knives over
there's
here.
There's a bunch of knives over there.
Oh, look at these golf clubs.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, how is this all going to come together?
And that definitely felt like De Palma because it felt so much like De Palma, it felt like it was trying to be Hitchcock.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, it's not quite as bad as, there were some times when De Palma did it where I was just sort of like, dude, that
the king of the Hitchcock worship, De Palma.
Yeah, well, it was specifically Raising Cain with the sundial.
Oh yeah,
where that sundial just comes right at the camera, and there's a fucking dude going, "Hey, someone's gonna get killed if you move that sundial," and you're like, "Oh my god." Okay, so we know what's gonna happen in 10 minutes.
And considering the most iconic De Palma horror movie is probably Carrie, there is a reoccurring theme in this movie of bullying.
Yep.
And that becomes very important because, I mean, what's one of the other tools if you want to get people, you know, to feel bad about themselves so that they will take your self-help? You make them feel bad about themselves first. You essentially neg them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's basically, the movie is basically, like, pointing out that, like, the aggressive positivity of quote-unquote influencers is actually there to make you feel bad.
Yep.
You're supposed to feel bad about yourself.
I think there's even a line where someone says that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm tired of feeling like shit because of...
Because you're trying to tell me to be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it. As someone who's struggled, like with various like body issues and like depression and shit like that. Sometimes that aggressive positivity makes you feel worse than worse.
Oh
than
yeah,
anything
yeah,
else.
and it's nice to have someone go like, oh no, that's the point.
Yeah,
that's the point. It's supposed to make you feel that way.
Yeah,
you know,
it's part of the game. It's part of the reeling you in.
Yeah, and it. Oh man, that's what I hate about this dirty business.
I know. Being in the online content creator game means you run into a lot of people like that.
Oh
and
god, yeah.
There's a lot of push to be like that, and it's
that's the part that really super sucks because you knew you're gonna run into phony people.
Yeah.
Like you knew that. You're like, all right, it's fucking entertainment.
That's show
business, baby. But you're not. But how to put it? I never thought that as a guy, I would be as a dude, I would be in a situation where I am essentially getting you'd be so much prettier if you smiled more. And I'm like, whoa, like this is like there's an online creator fucking version of that.
Yeah, there is.
And it all comes down to that phrase, like, I just want to spread positivity. Yeah, it's like you want to
I don't mind positivity.
Spread it like a disease. Jesus Christ.
I don't mind positivity when it comes from a real place, Like
it has to come from a real
I like
place.
to be very positive in my videos because most of the time I'm talking about movies I really love. But like you guys have watched, if you're watching my vlogs, you've seen my vlogs where I've watched a movie I didn't like.
Yeah.
Well,
like I still remember that. I still remember that Ghostbusters 2016 one.
Yeah.
You were a broken man.
Well, because there was like multiple layers of that. There was the frustration of everything building up to that movie was insufferable. The entire war online.
Oh my god, that whole culture war I hated. It was awful.
It made it insufferable. And then like to make like to put the final nail in the coffin of that movie, the movie itself turned out to be not worth any of the arguing.
Yeah.
It was just not good.
Yeah, that was really the final insult. It was like, oh god, like I had headaches and nightmares and anxiety attacks about Ghostbusters 2016, and I was like, I can't see this movie and give it a fair shake. There ain't no fucking way I'm gonna. I
decided to take the
You took the bullet.
Yeah, it's the when you're getting waxed and you're just like, you know what? No, don't peel it. Just rip it off.
Just rip it off.
Just rip it off. I decided to do that. And here's the thing: I had like high hopes for that movie, and I was disappointed.
Yeah, like a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's got 3-4 girls." I'm like, that doesn't matter.
And there's one thing I'll say about my old vlog about that is that my interpretation of the movie was definitely tainted from the dialogue around the movie.
Oh god, yeah.
Because I probably wouldn't have taken it so personally what actually happened in the movie, and I probably wouldn't have taken it as like a message about like, oh, guys are evil. Had that not been the conversation surrounding the movie leading up to it.
How to put it, like, there's nothing... Another remake that it could be really compared to is the RoboCop one. Which is another lame one. Also... It's one of those... Is it bad? Well, maybe, but it's really just lame,
It's not the worst. It's just... I mean, sometimes a comedy being bad is the worst thing, but like...
Yeah.
There are parts of that Ghostbusters remake that I enjoy, but it's just, I have no desire to watch it again. Yeah. And now we're talking about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, now we're talking about Ghostbusters 2016, because that's fucking, that's what they did to us!
Which means we should probably move on to the spoilers, so we can talk about shit that happens in this movie. So,
yeah.
Obviously, it is a Hulu original movie, an episode of Into the Dark. So there is no Amazon affiliate link for me to include here. So let us just move on to the spoilers. Okay.
All right. So I think one of the first things that they do in this movie is there's this traumatic thing that happens in the past, and they don't reveal outright what happened, but you get a very good impression.
Which was my one weird complaint about the movie is that I really wanted a clear view of what it was. Because at first, for a good 40 minutes of the movie, I had thought that it was like an accident that happened to one character. But then we reveal that it's actually a character committed suicide during it. And so I was just like, okay, so what exactly happened? Like, obviously the main character got a scar on her face as a result of whatever happened, and it involved someone going out a window and into the pool.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'm like, did she go out the window? Did the person who go out the window create the scar? Like, what?
Yeah. How did this go down? Who did
what, and who died, and how did they die? But the picture you get throughout the movie is that there was a friend that is not included in the movie because that friend committed suicide when they were younger because the Instagram model friend, influencer, she bullied her into committing suicide, and that this Instagram friend also bullied the rest of the friends too. Called the lesbian girl, who she didn't know at the time was a lesbian, but that's not really an excuse. They called her a butch lesbian all the time as an insult.
Called her a dyke all the time. Shit like that.
And the fat friend she kept insulting for being fat, which caused her to have bulimia problems in her youth. And I'm not exactly sure what she did specifically to the main character friend, but the main character seems to blame her for the scar, so...
Yeah, so that's something to do with that. I love one of the lines that she says, because at one point the Instagram model is like, you know, not loving yourself is something we learn when we're kids. And then one of the other girls is like, yeah, we learn it from people like you.
Yeah, you taught us that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were fine with ourselves until you made us gave us a reason to not be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And what I really like is that, like, halfway through, when the shit hits the fan and the main character, like, goes after the Instagram model and starts, like, pouring fucking wine on her face, or champagne on her face, and, like, choking her and just being like, won't you admit that you killed her? You killed her! Da da da. That... What was I gonna say?
Well, that's the moment that casts the most doubt on the whole narrative.
Well, yeah, that's right. What I was gonna say is that what I liked is that at that point you have the main character who is acting utterly crazy. So it's understandable if the friends are a little bit like, I don't know what we're doing here or whatever. But the moment the Instagram model friend starts responding to everything, you all of a sudden become on that main character's side because she is being so shady.
Yeah.
That it doesn't matter how crazy the friend is, because you believe that the person who's being crazy 100% believes everything they're saying. But the Instagram model person does not believe a thing they're saying, and it's obvious, and it just makes you hate them more than the crazy person.
Yes. Yep. You know, and it very quickly becomes quite apparent that, no matter what else may have happened, this Kelsey girl probably killed herself because this girl, the Instagram model wanted her
By the end of the movie, you know for sure.
Yeah.
There's a point in which she's, like, got a knife and they're fighting in the fucking bedroom and is just like, did you think I was actually going to admit to killing her? That would ruin my career, you know? Like,
yeah.
You're just like, okay, so she did do it. You pretty much figure that out over the course of the movie, but I was glad there was a confirmation.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. But of course, the end of the movie, turns out main character is really not that different from the bad guy.
No, because the thing that the main character is actually mad at the Instagram model for, she's not actually mad for the friend killing herself. She's not actually mad for calling the other friend fat or the other one a dyke. What she's mad about is that she wanted the career of the celebrity.
Yeah.
She wanted to be an actress. She wanted to be the one who's going out and fucking rich Silicon Valley types.
Yep.
You know, she wanted to be the one. There's actually a really funny scene in this movie in which a character has to admit to fucking Elon Musk, but they can't say his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, she wanted to be the one who's doing that, who's fucking the rich bachelors, who's out on the celebrity, like, events.
Yep.
Trading cocktails with Leonardo DiCaprio and shit. She wanted to be that. And that was taken away from her when she got her scar during the accident. And so she blames, because the accident was caused by a friend killing herself because the person bullied her, she blames the person who bullied her.
Yep.
Because the friend who killed herself is not there to blame.
Correct.
Basically establishing that the main character is no better than the Instagram influencer. In fact, she would have been that person had she not got her scar.
Yep. So you find yourself in this sort of situation where you just sort of like, man, I think another good way of putting this movie is bitches be crazy.
Yeah, that's not a bad description.
But
of the movie.
But it's a bitches be crazy story, obviously written and directed by a woman.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, everything about this felt like a genuine critique, because obviously it's a woman who was an actress, or is an actress, in Hollywood right now, so it's obvious she was pulling from some personal experience there. Dealing with some people she probably dealt with in that culture.
Oh, yeah. You know, like, because
this is probably the most LA of any of the movies so far, even Puka.
Definitely. Yeah, even Puka, which was a super LA movie, but this one, despite the fact that it's not even set in LA, it's the most LA of the fucking stories so far. They do talk about LA a lot in the movie, though.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously filmed in LA because you're looking at the design of that house.
Oh, no. I mean, it's supposed to be set in, like, Pasadena. Or something. That's what I meant. I like this movie. It's a mean film.
Oh, it's a mean film.
It's a mean film.
It's a mean film with an ending in which a bad person gets their way.
Yeah.
But it is oddly satisfying that they do.
It is. You find yourself going like, huh, I don't know why this person is terrible, but for some reason, I'm okay with this ending. Like, this feels about right, you know?
And you do kind of sit there with, in particular, the fat girl. You're sitting there going like, oh, honey, stop falling for the Instagram
stop falling
model.
for this fucking bullshit.
Like, the Instagram model's just manipulating her the entire movie because, like, she's established that she's not doing well financially, and so the Instagram model promises her a financial gain if she continues to help her.
Well, they establish a sick mother.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, repeating the mantra of the Instagram model about, you know, like taking what's yours and, like, not letting anyone stand in your way. It's one of those things where, like, the thin line between motivational speaking and self-help and straight-up selling narcissism is very thin.
Yeah. I loved that that's the way you described it when we were watching the movie. You're like, oh my God, it's just straight up selling narcissism.
Yep.
And I heard that, I was like, ooh, that's a good way of putting it. Because that is what it is. You know, like, oh yeah, let's sell narcissism.
Because after she bought into it, she ended up killing someone. Like, to get her way. You know, it's like...
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, great, now you're a sociopath.
And,
you know,
but you're sitting there going like, honey, if she's willing to kill these people for this, then she probably did do everything they're accusing her of. Why are you falling for her shit, number one? Number two, she's obviously going to use you as the scapegoat.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's why she's having you do all the killing. Come on, girl. Come on.
Yeah. You can put this together. You know?
I had one other critique of this movie, and that there's a scene in which they lock them into the sauna. Because at a certain point in the movie, they split off into two factions. There is the main character and the lesbian. And then there is the Instagram influencer and the fat girl, and they're basically trying to kill each other.
Yep.
Over the course of the movie, and the influencer and the fat girl lock the lesbian girl and the main character in the sauna in the house. Which, once again, you guys are obviously not for. They lock them in the sauna, and they're like dying of like dehydration in there. And I had one critique of that. You can clearly see the thermostat inside the sauna. So you're just like, but you could just turn it off right there. It's right
there. There's the big button.
And you can't miss it either because they're like leaning up against the door and like dying, and it's like right in the corner of the screen, and you're just like, oh man, you could have cropped that.
Yeah. It definitely feels like one of those things they're filming, like, yeah, it's a great reaction shot. Like, wait, you do realize that we could see the fucking thermostat and that so it makes no sense that they're dying in here. And they're like,
that's one of those things where you should have put some sort of like art piece over it or something to like cover it up.
Yeah. Probably should have covered it up, but that was probably one of those like you get in the editing room and you're like, oh god damn it.
It's probably what the most egregious error in the movie is that, because you're just sitting there the entire time going like, honey, turn it off. It's right there. Come on.
Yeah. But
this is your parents' house. You have no excuse.
I know. But thankfully, the movie's good enough to get by this.
Yeah.
I have to agree. This has probably been the one I liked the least qualitatively.
Yes, I would agree.
But in style, but for its style and everything that it's doing, it's definitely one of the better ones. For, like, basically, I don't know how to say it, other than the De Palma worship in the movie elevates its visual style.
It does.
You know, and none of these Into the Darks have been bad.
No.
They've all been very good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this one is very good.
Absolutely.
Completely worth an hour and a half.
Absolutely. And in awesome news, Jack got a new tripod, which is actually why we decided to sit down and do this.
Yeah. I was actually gonna, when you were like, it's a whole new you, and I was gonna say that we got a whole new tripod. So
it's a fluid head.
It is.
If you know what that is, that is beautiful.
I know.
It doesn't. It actually just.
So the only thing I think I need is I might want to get one of those poles to attach to it. So if I ever do like the 360 or whatever,
that's a good idea. The pole makes it easier to move.
Yeah. But I think maybe before I get that, I'm probably gonna actually get the follow focus because I've been wanting to. Yeah. Because I've been like, you look. You know me and my love of the rack focus and how I have been unable to properly fucking do that because you need a tool that helps you do it.
It does help.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're sitting there going like, I don't know how much can I say? Damn, fuck it. You know, take 15.
Also helps to have a camera assistant, which we don't have. It's just us.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if one of us is in front of the camera.
That's usually how they do it. They have like two guys operating one camera. That's how they do the rack focus. Yeah. But the follow focus is designed so that one person can do it well enough. Mm-hmm. You know, you're probably not going to be putting that on a fucking movie screen anytime soon. But you know, it'll work. It's good enough for
new year, new equipment.
Yep.
Even though it's like February now.
Shut up.
So yeah, where can they? So we recommend this just as we recommend every segment of the show so far. And it's weird to call it a show because every segment's a movie.
Yeah. It's a movie series.
Yeah.
You know, each one is just based on a different like calendar.
Yeah.
Part of calendar.
We're gonna try to catch up and watch The Body, which is the only one we haven't seen so far yet, when we get a chance.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that. To the fucking Ides of March one.
Yes,
you know?
Yes. In our last one we did, which was technically the one after New Year's, the Valentine's one, we talked about the upcoming March one and trying to figure out what is it, St. Patrick's Day? Is it what is it? And it turns out it's Ides of March. So there we go. So where can they find you, Count Jackula?
You can find me on here, YouTube. I have a channel. You could subscribe to it. It's the Count Jackula Show. You know me. You can also follow me on social media, where I spread positivity and body awareness and all sorts of great things like that on Twitter and Instagram, because I'm a whore and I have an Instagram account. Strangely enough, like there's less porn on my Instagram account, probably because there's less porn on the platform. It's hard to.
You can't.
Yeah.
There's no porn on Instagram.
There's no porn on Instagram.
So that would be the reason.
Yeah. Like, maybe that's just why I'm on Twitter.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Follow me on Instagram. Shit happens there. Unlike that Facebook. Yeah. Like that Facebook. Because I got tired of arguing with people about everything on Facebook. I don't like Facebook. But you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And I also have a Twitch channel, and I stream every Thursday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on YouTube.
True. And you all know me, if I may. Fucking Jaws. I don't know why I'm obsessed with doing that. You all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and you will find me there. And as per usual, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you're notified of my videos immediately upon my upload. I almost forgot what word I was going to say. Also, I completely forgot to do this entire thing last vlog, so I don't know how much it actually matters to say that, but if it does, yay. Peace out, my fellow gorehounds, and I'll catch y'all later. I have no idea what I'm doing.
We're terrible internet.
We're terrible on internet. Terrible.